Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here to break down the 4-game CS:GO main slate as well as the 2-game late slate on Friday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos breaking out NBA, NFL, and esports daily fantasy sports slates, esports including Call of Duty, League of Legends, and this one Counter-Strike CS:GO. So with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. Before we get into players and their prices for both of these slates, what we can do is we can look back at my lineup here from Thursday's slate. So this is my final lineup. I went with Floppy in the captain spot, and then Breeze, Sir, Caserado, Vinny, and Brolon. Yeah, so I knew it was going to be, there was going to be some chalk in this slate with a lot of the favorites, right? So the EG guys, Cirque had a really good day. Breeze was disappointing fantasy points wise, but he didn't have like a bad overall game. He's had no assist, which is really rare, and no like entry kills at all, no first kills. And no clutches. He's won 17 to 15. So if you looked at his score, if you're just like watching the game, you saw Breeze, 17 to 15. You probably think, it's a decent game, probably close to 20 fantasy points. Just unfortunate, right? So that you got a little bit unlucky there if you played Breeze for sure. I mean, he was really popular in this tournament, 63% owned. Again, paired him with Cirque. Cirque was really solid. He's continuing his really good play. And then I went Caserado and Vinny. So Vinny was a shot I was willing to take because I felt pretty confident Furia was going to win that one. They did win pretty easily, I believe 16 to 5. And then Brolon there. I mentioned him, Crim's my two favorite plays there on Fnatic. But all in all, it was really just once again I made the 50-50 decision the wrong way with Floppy and JKS. That was the game where I was a little bit undecided. I knew the 100 Thieves guys would be a little bit higher owned. But my favorite play on the 100 Thieves side was JKS. My favorite play on the C9 side was Floppy. I wanted to go with one of those two in the captain spot. I chose wrong, obviously, because you guys, if you didn't know, JKS went for like, what did he put up? Like 50 fancy points almost. I did the math. If I would have had JKS instead of Floppy there in the captain spot, I would have finished in the top 5 in that tournament. In this tournament, so yeah, a little bit frustrating there for sure. But that's the way it goes sometimes. I'm not really mad going with my decision with Floppy. He was, about half the ownership was JKS, so I was okay taking a shot there. Again, my strategy normally in these GPPs is play a lot of the chalk. I played Breeze, Cirque, Caserado, Brolon. I played 4 really chalky players. I got a little bit different, value play, took a shot on was Vinny. Actually got lucky, he paid off. And then Floppy obviously did not. So that's the recap there. Yeah, if I go JKS in the captain spot, I come close to a takedown. But that basically wraps it up for the look back here. So let me exit out of this. Again, we have a 4-game. The 4-game main slate starts at, 4 a.m., I believe. So it starts pretty soon. And then the late slate's at like 1:25 p.m. Eastern. The interesting thing is they combine the DreamHack with the Blast tournaments. Now, these are all best of 3s now. So a lot of the CSGO we were watching this last week has been best of 1. Now it's best of 3. So let's take a look at some of these odds here. I guess for the first game of the day is Order versus Chiefs Esports. Order are slight favorites there at minus 140. Then we have Beyond versus Lucid Dream. They had Lucid Dream at minus 275, but then just crossed it off, so they might be changing that. And then we have Astralis versus Mouse Esports. Mouse Esports minus 160 favorites. And Vitality are the biggest favorites of the day at minus 345, even though they were a letdown today against Saw, surprisingly. Right? We saw Saw win that one. That was a little bit of a surprise for sure because of how well Vitality's been playing and how bad Saw's been playing. All right, so let's start with the first game of the day here. We have Chiefs versus Order. So these are two teams I've watched a little bit. I've watched a couple of their games. Let's go with the Chiefs side first. So the pricing on these guys is not as appealing as the Order side. Now this is going to make these guys a lot lower owned compared to the Order guys. And again, this one's almost a toss-up, right? You do have Order slight favorites at minus 140. But yeah, on the Chiefs side, it's humongous and a Pusa dud for me. Those are the two guys I like, but you're going to have to pay premium for them, right? You have a Humongous at 9.2 and Apusud, however you pronounce his name, is at 8.2K. So, yeah, they're a little bit pricey, right? They have good numbers for sure. Right? Humongous, I've seen a couple really big games from him. He's last 3 months a .71 kills from .66 deaths per round. Apusud is at .69 and .65. So those are the two guys I'd really look to the most probably. Everyone else on the team, I don't think get to Yam or Zeph. Sojuj, or however you pronounce his name, again, could be mispronouncing that, 8.6K. I think I'd rather get to Humongous for a little more, or Episode for a little bit less. But really, I like the order side a lot more for the price tags. Now, again, this is going to make these guys a lot more popular, but Alistar's price at 7.2K, I really, really like that price point. Looking at his numbers, he's got a .76 kills per round, .59 deaths per round. Their favorites here, he's got those numbers, and he's 7.2K. So he stands out, in my opinion, as one of the better plays of the day on this slate. But there are definitely other plays that are viable here. Valiance has decent numbers. Ustello has decent numbers. Rikke even has pretty good numbers. Jara is okay too. So really, you could make an argument for all 5 of these guys. I think the guy that, well, I don't know, Rikke, Valiance, and Ustello, I do like a good amount for their prices. 7K, 6.8, and 6.6K. So, yeah, this order side, again, they look a lot better for the price points. These guys are going to be a lot more popular than Chiefs side. Again, for cash games, you definitely go order, in my opinion. For GPPs, you can make the argument for the Chiefs just because they're going to be a lot lower on. I really like Alistar. I think Rikke, Valiance, and Ustello all look pretty good for their respective prices as well. So, yeah, this is a team I feel pretty good about. Again, I haven't get to watch a whole lot of their games, but just going off their favorites and the price points, right? So I think these guys do look really well. Again, they're going to be pretty popular, but I think the order side does look good. Now let's move on to Mouse versus Astralis. So we have Mouse Esports -160. Astralis is a team that they have just not looked good here with the 2 new additions. 1-5 in the last 5 games, besides that win against Saw. It's just hard for me to... Well, let's talk about the Mouse Esports side first. So there's another team that's been pretty up and down. They have actually lost 3 of their last 5 games as well. Now, they've been in a little bit closer fashion, but both teams coming into this kind of struggling. Now, which team do I prefer? I probably lean slightly towards Mouse Esports, but... Yeah, again, this is a best of 3, so you can play players from both sides. So you could get a device and pair them with like Rops or Frozen if you want to, right? If you think it's a really close series. On the Mouse Esports side, it's just, looking at their price points compared to Astralis, again, the Mouse Esports guys are going to be way more popular. Rops at 7.6, Frozen at 7.2, and Woxic at 6.8K. Kerrigan and Chris J, their prices cross off. I just don't even want to consider. I know Kerrigan has had... he can have decent games. On Train usually he plays well, but best of 3, I don't want to do it. Just because Rops, Frozen, and Woxic really do stand out. Again, Rops is the best overall numbers. Frozen actually had the best game today, but Rops last 3 months, .74, .62. And then you have Frozen and Woxic, pretty similar numbers for them. So yeah, their prices, again, they look really, really good. Their favorites too. Again, I probably lean towards the Mouse Esports guys, but that's going to make them a lot more popular. So for GPPs, you could look to maybe just a one-off for Astralis, right? I'm not getting to Magisk or Dupree at their price points. They're just complete cross-offs for me. I don't know why they have Magisk priced that high. He's now the in-game leader. His stats have really gone down since the 2 new additions as well. Dupree at 9K, that's about $1,500 too expensive in my opinion. So those are 2 guys I have absolutely no interest in either of them for their respective prices. Yugi and Snappy, they're honestly just dart throws. Neither have looked good since coming out of this team. They're 4.4 and 4.2K though. And if I was going to pair someone with Device in this team, it probably would be one of those cheap guys and just hope they don't completely shit the bed. But yeah, Device is the one guy I look to the most here. I know that's expensive, 9.8K. He's going to be contrarian. Again, Astralis have really been struggling. But I could see pairing him with 1 or 2 of those Mouse Esports guys if that's the way you want to go. So yeah, Device right now, he's one of the best CSGO players in the world, but his team has been struggling, so his performance has kind of been going down as well. So that's kind of my breakdown there for the first two games. So really, yeah, it's the order side for cash game, order and mouse sports right now side for cash games for me. Next game we have Beyond versus Lucid Dream. So these are two teams I honestly have not got to see at all play. So I can really only go by the stats that we have. They do have Lucid Dream at minus 275 favorites. I don't know if I agree with that. I think there are some new additions to this Lucid Dream team. Both teams have been struggling recently. Lucid does have historically more wins, but again, I think this is a relatively new roster. Yeah, this is one where I honestly don't have a strong lean, but I think there's obviously some upside in this game for GPPs. It's a little bit risky because I've not got to watch either of these teams play, so I don't have like an amazing breakdown for you guys besides just looking at their stats, right? So I wish I could say a little bit more, but I just have not got to see either of these teams play. First, we'll talk about the Beyond or the Lucid Dream side. So they have them as favorites. The three guys on the right here are probably guys I will be avoiding. They do have Fox for some reason as the most expensive player at 8.4K. I'll pass looking at his numbers. He's got 0.63 kills per round, 0.72 deaths per round. That doesn't really make sense. Seven and John Olsen are both, Seven's negative, John Olsen slightly positive, but I don't think I want to go there. It's really PTC and CBBK, the two guys I look to. Again, they have the best overall numbers. And you have CBBK, a really cheap price point at 6.4K, and PTC at 8K. So probably my favorite play for his price would be CBBK. But yeah, that's really all I got for this side. Again, I wish I had a better breakdown, but I can really only go off the numbers. And then on the Beyond side, again, they are the underdogs here, but I think it could go either way. The guys I look to the most, again, are QQ God and Olivia. Everyone else is probably a stay away. Those are all just GPP dart throws really for me. But it's QQ God and Olivia for me. QQ God is at 6.4K. That looks pretty good. Olivia at 7K. Those are not bad prices. I know they're underdogs, but realistically, I think probably this game is almost a toss-up. They're both ranked pretty similar in the world rankings, 96 and 98th. Again, they do have Lucid Dream as favorites, but I don't know. So, yes, again, I wish I had a little bit of a better breakdown for that game, but I just have not got to watch either team play. And lastly, we have Dignitas versus Vitality. So where are we at here? We have Vitality, the biggest favorites of the day, minus 345. I know they were let down in the early slate today. Surprisingly lost. They've been really, really good before that. I think they had like 4 or 5 straight wins, where they did have a couple ties there. But yeah, they lost to Saw today, and then Dignitas has really been struggling. They didn't get that one win against VP, but other than that, their team I've kind of been targeting recently, so I'll be targeting them once again against Zywoo. We'll go to Vitality first. Zywoo is one of my favorite plays of the day at 8.8K. He's going to be really chalky for like the 10th straight slate. But yeah, I really do like Zywoo. And then, again, everyone else on his team, it's just so hard to break down. They're all very, very similar plays. All have very similar numbers. All have had good games, but I really don't have a strong lean. Shox is the best of all numbers at 0.65 and 0.65. He also is the second most expensive at 6.8K. Yeah, those are all really just kind of go with your gut and go with what works with roster construction purposes. I don't have a strong lean. I've watched a lot of Vitality, and honestly, those 4 play Shox, Apex, Misu, and RPK are all very, very similar to me. So it's really what works through your lineup if you want to play someone else besides Zywoo. And then on the Dignitas side, not as high on these guys. Again, this is a team I've been targeting players against. It's Forrest and Halzerk for me. Forrest at 7.8K and Halzerk at 7K. I would consider. Everyone else is probably a stay away, though. Yeah, again, this team has really been struggling. Forrest has had some decent games. Again, he has the best overall numbers. Halzerk as well has positive KD, but not super excited about the Dignitas guys. Again, I feel a lot better with going with Zywoo and maybe one of those cheaper options on Vitality. So, all in all, again, this is an interesting slate because they're combining 2 tournaments. I think if we're talking about cash games here, I think the guys in the Order side look really good. I think the guys in the Mouse Esports side look really good. I think Zywoo looks really good. That's probably what I would look to for cash. Again, the Order guys, right? Alistar, or any of those guys below him, honestly. But Alistar would probably be my favorite. On the Mouse Esports side, again, Rops, Frozen, Woxic, and then Vitality, obviously Zywoo. This game with Lucid Dream versus Beyond, again, haven't got to watch a whole lot of these guys, but the favorite is Lucid Dreams. They are a little bit more expensive, but if you want to go just off the Vegas numbers, right, it's probably CBBK and PTC for me if you're looking that route. But let's see. Yeah, I think that really does it. Again, if you want to get contrarian for GPPs, there are some interesting ways you can get different, right? You want to spend up for Device. He's going to be pretty low owned, in my opinion, at that price. Humongous, I think, will be a little bit low owned for that price at 9.2K, but he's had some good games. Yeah, I find it really interesting that DraftKings did combine these slates, but or these tournaments. But it should make for a pretty interesting slate. So that basically wraps up for the main slate. Now let's move on and talk about the late slate really quick. All right. Let me exit out of these. Exit out of that. Exit out of that. And I don't think they have odds up yet for either of these games since C9 did just play. They don't have the odds up yet for either. But let's talk about the first game here. So we have Gen G versus Triumph. Triumph actually has been looking pretty good. If you look at their most recent games, right, they beat Cloud9, they tied 100 Thieves, they destroyed Chaos, and they tied EG. That's against some pretty good competition. So Triumph is a team that has looked really good. Now, I expect the Vegas numbers will have Gen G as favorites. My best guess would probably be minus 180 to minus 200. Again, that's just if I had to guess. I think Gen G still is the better team, but Triumph has really been playing well recently here. So let's take a look at the numbers here. First, we'll go with the Triumph side. So we have Grim way at the top at 8.8K, but it kind of makes sense because looking at his numbers, again, really, really good numbers, 0.82 and 0.68 as far as a KD. Everyone else on his team is, I think that the guy I would have the next most interesting would probably be Junior. 0.67 kills per round and 0.62 deaths per round. He's at a 6.2K price point. So if you want to go this Triumph side, right, this is going to be a lower owned team. But again, they've been playing really well. So sure, you can make an argument for any of the guys, but I think the next guy I would have the most interesting would be Junior. So if you wanted to go like a Grim Junior stack, I don't hate that idea. Again, this is a 2-game slate. So again, these are best of threes too. So, let's now talk about the Gen G side. So the price points in these guys look pretty good to me. Automatic, Ben 10, and Kusta. Kusta probably my favorite play for his price at 7.2K. He's looked the best recently. He's been playing some really good Counter-Strike. He's the third most expensive guy in the team. So I think Kusta will probably be my favorite play, followed by Ben 10 at 7.4K, and then Automatic. I mean, all three, again, if you look at their numbers, they're very, very similar. Kusta 0.7 and 0.67, Automatic 0.69 and 0.62, and then Ben 10 at 0.69 and 0.65. So very, very similar, those three guys. I'd probably rank it Kusta 1, Ben 10 2, Automatic 3. I think Psalm is in play still, but he's priced too similar to the top three guys. So not super excited about Psalm. I think he is still viable, but I like the three guys above him a little bit more. And then Daps is probably a stay away at 5.4K. I don't think I want to do that. And then we have C9 versus MIBR. So honestly, two of my favorite teams in Counter-Strike. They're going up against each other. I would say, my best guess for this Vegas line would probably be MIBR favorites at minus 150 or so, maybe minus 200. If you look at their head-to-head, it's 4-4, so it's close. Again, both teams have been in decent form. Cloud9 won against 100 Thieves today, lost a close one against EG and Triumph, then beat Gen G. MIBR lost to Liquid, beat Furia, and then tied Chaos and Gen G. So, yeah, both are in pretty similar form. Looking at the prices. So first on the C9 side, again, I still like Floppy, even though he let me down today. He's this guy I've been play a lot for CSGO. I think he is the best player on the team, and now he is the most expensive. So OC at a slight discount does make sense as well. Again, he uses the AWP. And then Sonic and MOTM are always viable too. It's just kind of hard to to pick. I feel like one of those two always has a really good game with Sonic and MOTM. It's just, getting that one right. I don't think I would play both, but I think getting to either one of Sonic or MOTM is not a bad idea. They're pretty decent price points at 6.6 and 6.4K. Again, their numbers, MOTM slightly positive, and I believe Sonic is slightly positive as well. Yeah, so both those guys have the ability to do good. Again, MOTM a little bit more of the aggressive player. Sonic will use the AWP as well, and he is actually pretty good at the AWP too when C9 does use the 2-AWP setup. So, yeah, I think that's kind of my breakdown, and the JT is always a stay away from me. On the MIBR side, if we're just looking at the prices, KNGV is going to be very popular in my opinion. Now, he is the cash game play for playing cash games on his 2-game slate. He had a great game the last game. I forget what his stats were, but he crushed. I think he got close to 30 kills. He started like 16-0 or something crazy like that. Him, Fur, and Fallen all have very similar numbers. Those three guys really do carry the team. Fallen 0.73 and 0.60, Fur 0.75 and 0.67, and KNGV 0.76 and 0.67. So, yeah, I mean, KNGV has probably you could argue the best numbers of those three, and is $2,000 cheaper than Fallen, $1,000 cheaper than Fur. So KNGV is going to be the ultimate chalk in this slate. Again, for cash games, you play him and move on. For GPPs, you could make the argument to fade, pay a little bit more for Fur for lower ownership, pay a lot more for Fallen for a lot less ownership, I should say. Yeah, Fallen still intrigues me at 9.2K, just because, if looking at the slate, there's not a whole lot to pay up for. I still think he'll be popular, but not as popular as KNGV. So if we're talking about cash games, right, it's KNGV 1, Fur 2, Fallen 3. For GPPs, you really could make the argument to, to pay a little bit more for Fur to differentiate yourself, or a lot more for Fallen. And again, since it's a 2-game slate, definitely you could go like a 3-3 stack. Normally on these 2-game slates, that's what I go with, but you could go again like a 3-2-1 and use like a one-off, right? TRK and Taco, their respective prices, TRK, I mean, these numbers are not all with MIBR. He has a lot worse numbers than MIBR, so I don't know if I want to do it. And then Taco, I don't feel good about either of those guys, honestly. So, yeah, I think that really wraps it up. Again, on these 2-game slates, I think the chalk build will probably be a 3-3 build, but if you want to differentiate yourself, again, leave a little bit of money on the table for tournaments, or go like a 3-2-1, or go 2-2-1-1, right? That'll definitely be a little bit more of a contrarian build for the small slate. And if we're just talking about cash games, I think that the 3-3 build with the 2 favorites is probably the way to go. But yeah, I think that is going to do it for the video, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, I really appreciate it if you leave a like in this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. Hitting that notification bell, again, does really help me out to continue to grow this channel. We're closing in at 3.3 thousand subscribers, so thank you guys all so much for all the support. I think we will have a few games on Saturday for CSGO, but yeah, unfortunately we have no Call of Duty this weekend. That got moved to next weekend. So yeah, thanks again, guys. Really do appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next video.